started and then we can, oh, there we are. So getting started on Restream, but I am going to talk to Instagram today only. You all have to just see me from the side on the other platforms, but I wanted to go over this today because it's Equal Pay for Black Women Day. That's what it is. And so I wanted to cover how Black women can get paid their worth. Right now, we get paid 63 cents for every dollar a white man makes. And that's pretty much $1 million lost over the lifetime of a career. $1 million is a lot of money. $10,000 is a lot of money, but a whole $1 million gap for Black women compared to white men is a lot of money. A lot of money that could have been used not to work your entire life until you die to be able to build generational wealth. So it's very important that this pay gap gets closed. Of course, men and women, the pay gap is there, but we're talking about Black women today, and it's 63 cents to every dollar a white man makes. So I wanted to just share a few pretty much money tips around how to be able to start to close that gap, because I think it's important. And I want to talk to those of you who work for someone else, you work in a 9-to-5, and then also my entrepreneurs, I want to talk to you as well. So let's get started. So the first thing is to ask for what you deserve from the start. Okay. Get your money from the start. That's tip number one. Get your money from the start. So whether you are newly into the workforce, or you're coming out of high school, coming out of college, getting your money from the beginning, right? Or if you're going into a new profession, a new career, I don't care if it's a career change or you're going to a new company, from the beginning, getting your money and what you're worth. And you may be saying, okay, Janae, how do I do that? Okay, how do I do that? First and foremost, and we'll go a little deeper in a second on just this one, because I just thought about something. Knowing what the pay range is. Of course, you can go to salary.com, payscale.com, but go a step further and reach out to someone, whether you know them or not. Maybe it's somebody that went to your alma mater, maybe it's somebody that you actually do know. Reach out to them. If they work for the company or the organization that you want to go work at, ask them what is the pay for the position you're going for. And if they don't know right off the bat, then guess what? I'm sure they can find a manager in there and ask them, what is the pay range for this particular position? Or they can go into their intranet and find it. One way or the other, they can find those numbers. And even when you're doing an interview and they start to ask about salary, ask them, what is the range of this position? So that you at least know that you're not coming in there under the range, even lower than the range is there. Because that's what a lot of women do. Not only Black women, that's what women do. We just go in there and they say $50,000 a year. Okay, thank you. Instead of asking, what is the actual pay range of this job? Like, what is the pay range? We're talking about salaries here. What is the pay range? Okay, it's actually, $50,000 to $70,000. Well, if you take 50, you just missed out on 20 grand. 20 grand, that it takes a lot of promotions and raises to make up that $20,000 that you just missed out on in that first, in that interview when you were accepting that job offer. It takes a lot of promotions and bonuses and all that stuff to catch up with that. It just does. So you got to get it from the beginning. So that is tip number one. Tip number 1B, okay, is, wherever you work at, and this is actually becoming a lot more normal, asking people what they make, the people in the same position as you, like, what is their salary? Like, when people start talking more, then guess what? People can start getting paid their actual worth. So when you're with your colleagues and you all are pretty much in the same position, y'all been there the same amount of years and so forth, ask each other, like, what do you get paid? Like, you don't owe this company anything, and neither does the person you're asking. They shouldn't be underpaying anybody. So we all know that African-American women get paid less than others. So ask people what they're making, and they can tell you. And if in corporations, nobody's going to know who told you that anyway. Like, when I was a pharmaceutical rep, on our team alone, it was 12 people. And in the whole company, it was thousands. So if I ask somebody who's been working there, 3 years, just like I am, pharmaceutical rep, we're all on the same level, they're never going to know that somebody told me that they make this amount of money. And then I now know it's this amount of more than me. I'm going to go ask for more in my next review. Right. So don't be afraid to ask people and find out what everybody's numbers are. All right. So that is basically tip number 1 and tip number 1B. So tip number 2, get in the right rooms. Okay. Get in the right rooms. Work your way up into the rooms that are talking about salary. Okay. Get into the rooms that are talking about salary. So I'm talking to Black women. All right. Get into those rooms, because not only do you make a change for yourself, of course, your income is going to go up and your salary is going to go up, but you're going to be able to affect the salaries of other Black women. And I've seen this firsthand when I was working in pharmaceutical sales. Once again, because that was pretty much the first 10 years of my working life, that an African-American woman was one of what they called the district managers. All right. And the district managers would come together every year, once a year, and get the names of people who should be promoted or who should get raises, or, and she would be in there fighting for Black women, Black people and Black women. She was saying, oh, why we don't have this person in the conversation? They did this, they did that. Like, she's not bringing them up just because they're Black. She's bringing them up because they're working in excellence and being forgotten by everyone else, who, by the way, were all men, white men. Okay. And so she brought the names up. She got, people their bonuses. She got people their promotions, got people their money, because she was in the room. So not only do you need to work yourself up into the right rooms, the rooms that are talking about money, but also bringing people up with you as you go. A lot of times, people say that, a lot of African Americans may say it's only room for 1 or 2 of us. That's not true. And I don't think people think that way. Okay. People always say that people, Black people think that way. No, they don't. A lot of people, especially in corporate America, bring other African Americans up, especially if they are working in excellence and are the best. All right. So if you are still working for somebody 9 to 5, work your way up into the right rooms and, start to pull people up. You're going to get more money because you're higher up. And then you're going to be able to make a dent in this pay gap for African American women. So that is tip number 2. Tip number 3, we're starting to move into, we're gonna stay 9 to 5 with a mixture of entrepreneurs, but this is just for every Black woman, right? This is just for every Black woman. It don't matter what your occupation is, what you do, and so forth. This is for everybody else. Surround yourself with money makers. Okay, surround yourself with people who know how to make money and understand that there's no limits on money. Okay. Know how to make money and understand there's no limits on money. Okay. And so that can be in the corporate space, or that can be in the entrepreneur space. It definitely is a lot easier in the entrepreneurship space, because as entrepreneurs, there is no limit to the amount of money you can make. Okay. There is no limit to the amount of money that you can make. You can make as much as you want. All right. As long as you have a great product or service and you're truly solving a problem. All right. There is no limit. Now, when it comes to corporate, there can be some limits to the amount of money you make unless you go higher and higher up. Right. Go higher and higher up. But it doesn't mean that you have to be the CEO. You can be the chief marketing officer. I think that's what Bozeman does. The one that works for Netflix. She is, I think, the CMO. Okay. She makes a lot of money. She's not the CEO, but she makes a lot of money. Okay. And she talks about making money, and she talks about bringing in more money. Like, not only does she have her job that she does, she also has courses and some kind of workshop she does that people have to pay to get into. So she knows how to make money. Like, that's the kind of money maker I'm talking about in a corporate space. But for everybody else that are entrepreneurs, getting around people that don't see a limit, that has been the biggest thing for me. Okay. And I started seeing that, 5 or 6 years ago, and seeing people have at first, $10,000 months. And then now it's seeing, my business coach had a $300,000 day in 24 hours, 300 grand. So it's helping you to see that there are no limits as long as you have a great product, great service, and you're really solving a problem, and people need that solution that you offer, there's no limit. I mean, I on a daily, and these are real people and real money. I know there's a lot of people who are out there, flashing a Ferrari, like they're flying, driving a Ferrari in a YouTube ad and all that kind of stuff. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about people, real people that have, 6-figure years. They have, like I said, $20,000 months. It makes you know that it's possible. You always need to be around people that let you know it's possible. Okay. I remember I first started speaking, my mentor had got his first, $10,000 check. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, that's crazy to me. This was like 10 years ago. And I was like, that's crazy to me. And until I got my first $10,000 check. And then it's just like, okay, what's next? Like, are we going for $20,000 check? We're going for a $20,000 a week, $20,000 a month, whatever it may be, because you just have to see it first in order to know that it exists and that it's possible. My friend Richard, he had put up a video, I think it was today, about people talking about don't listen to people who say what is impossible, basically, especially when you have seen it. Okay. It's just because they haven't seen it, they haven't done it, they try to push that on you. That's why I'm telling you to get around people who make money and talk about making money. And they actually have proof of it as well. All right. So that is number 3. And last, number 4. So this is for my entrepreneurs. Okay. And we're talking my Black women entrepreneurs. So I'm talking to you now. We already talked about corporate, but let's talk to those of you who are entrepreneurs, who are Black women, and closing the pay. All right. Closing the pay. So products, understanding, making sure that your products are priced right. Okay. You don't have to give people discounts. You don't have to price it up under your competitors. There's already a gap. You don't need to help the gap. Okay. If you go out the right clientele, the right client base, they are going to pay your price. Okay. They are going to pay your price. I just went online and bought like 3 shirts from my alma mater. I didn't even I looked at what I wanted and I got it. Okay. And it's a Black owned business. I just got some shorts, and some basketball shorts with my alma mater on them. Didn't look at the price. It was another Black woman. I paid the price. And there are Black women on here that I have supported financially with their business. I like their products. I'm going to buy it. I don't do charity buying. If I like your products and you're a Black woman, I'm going to buy the stuff. And I'm not going to ask you for no discount. I'm not going to, look for no code or nothing. I look for codes on Expedia. I look for codes for Delta. I look for codes for them, but I don't look for codes for you all. Unless you offer a code, I'm not going to go and ask you for one or look for one. Just go pay the price, because I don't have no problem paying the price anywhere else. So let me get off that soapbox. But yeah, I'm going to pay the price, and I'm going to pay it. That's what it is. That's what I'm paying. All right. So that's what, don't discount your stuff. I don't discount my speaking at all. I don't discount my speaking at all. In fact, I have just told people the last week it's going up in September. So if you want to hire me now, I suggest you do it, because it's going to go up in September, because I know people pay it. They paid everything else. I know they're going to keep paying it because of my value, because of what I bring to the table. And what my value is, and those of you who have my speaker program, that's how I do things. I talk in value. And so anytime that I'm speaking, whoever hires me, I'm bringing in you tens of thousands of dollars. So I have no problem raising my prices every single year with no problem. No problem. I don't even think about it at all. And so whether you have products or services, you've got to charge your value. You got to charge your value, because that's the only way that we're talking about equal pay for Black women. But just overall, as African Americans, the wealth gap is huge. They have said it will take 228 years for African Americans to close the wealth gap to whites. I don't believe that at all. That's just what they say. All right. So if that is the case, all right, then why in the world are you handicapping yourself by discounting your products, discounting your services. So I'm talking to my entrepreneurs right now, my Black women entrepreneurs. Why are you doing that? You're making it hard on yourself. And don't let you have no children and trying to run a business. Why are you going to make life harder? That's craziness. Like, you need to make your life easier. You need to raise your prices and find the people to pay it, right? Find the people to pay it. The same, and then also for those of you who have services and you're working basically a business to business kind of service. You're that type of entrepreneur. That's what I am. I'm a business to business entrepreneur. Yes, on here on Instagram. So I'm on other platforms as well, guys. And even with you all with Facebook and Twitter and so forth, you all are kind of the B2C for me. You all buy my courses, you all buy my books, and so forth. But my speaking and even my book sales, they are B2B. They're business to business. Okay. I work with corporations, organizations. I work with colleges and high schools and so forth. That's business to business, right? And so negotiation is very big with what I do, okay? With what I do. And so what I say to you is that you have to be able to negotiate if you need to, okay? If you need to, you have to understand that, for example, let's say a really big company came to, want to work with me, right? But let's say that they couldn't pay my full price, all right? But I know that even though you're going to come close to my price, I'm also going to get your big name, and that's what we're going to negotiate. I am going to make sure someone is videotaping my presentation, and you can't use it again. That video is for me. The audio is for me. The pictures are for me. And of course, with your marketing, you can have the pictures of your marketing. And then I'm also going to negotiate book sales, and I'm going to negotiate me turning it into a multiple presentation for the other things that I offer. So I'm giving a little bit on my speaking price for that corporation, but I know that I'm going to get a lot more out of it than what my full speaking price would have been. But you have to know, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, how to work negotiations and to understand how it's going to be a win for them because of the content I bring and the value that I bring. But I also have to make sure that it's a major win for me as well on the back end. So what could have been, a $15,000 speaking engagement may end up being 12 at first. But my book sales, because I have other products, so my books, a bulk order of books can make up $4,000 or $5,000 more on top of the speaking part. Okay, so I'm already over the 15, right? I'm already over the 15 if I was just speaking, and then I'm putting myself in place for future speaking engagements because whenever I get on stage, I'm going to kill it. I'm going to kill it. Like that's not even an issue. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to be invited back. So me taking off $3,000 on speaking engagement, knowing that I'm going to make it up on the book side, and then of course the name recognition from that company that's going to go on my site, go on my marketing materials, and then coming back to speak some more. Whenever you all see these, like if you had been following me for years now, right? I put out my speaking tour every year. A lot of the people that you see on these speaking tours, at least, probably 50% of them are repeat customers. When I go there, I know I'm going to come back. All right. So it's never an issue that I'm not going to make more money off of this one thing. I'm going to come back more and more. So that's why it's important to understand negotiation, because you can turn one thing, one sale, one client, one contract into multiple year contracts. All right. And that's what I'm telling people. Like some of my, clients that, let me think of one right now. One client that I've worked with this year, we have done at least $30,000 in business, at least. And that's just one client. Like you have to understand every aspect of business. Okay. And negotiation is a big part of it. And of course, negotiation is big for those of you who are in a 9-to-5 as well. You have to strengthen your negotiation skills, and you got to get yourself, and this is for everybody once again, well, for my Black women, because that's what we're talking about. You got to get yourself in a financial position to be able to walk away from people who don't value you. Okay. You got to be in a financial position. That's what a lot of this has to do with. Okay. That's why these gaps persist, whether it's Black women, the 63 cents to every dollar a white man makes, whether it is the 79 cents of all women for a dollar that a man makes. It's because of your financial position. A lot of it. When these college students get out of college and they get that first offer, the reason they take it so fast is because they feel like they have to. They got student loan debt on their back. How I know, because I speak to thousands of them a year on their campuses. They got student loan debt on their back, and they're feeling like they have to take it because they need money. They're about to get off the safety of this college campus that feeds them, houses them, and all that kind of stuff. And now they're out on their own and they need money. So they take it like this. The same thing, even if you're not a college student, if you in your 30s and your 40s and 50s and so forth, the reason you take money that when you should be making a lot more is a lot of times because of debt. It's because you got a car payment, you got a house payment, you got rent, you got a credit card debt, you got student loans. And so you're like, I've got to make some money. So what they offer me, I'm not going to push back on it. I'm just going to take it instead of negotiating your value. I have worked with human resources people all over the country, and they say they be in their heads begging, especially Black women, to negotiate with them. Like in their heads are like, please negotiate, please negotiate. You can get more, you can get more. But they have to do their part. They work for the company. Their allegiance is to the company, but in their head, they're saying to you, please ask me for more. And then you don't ask. And now you're on the trajectory of making $1 million less than the white man who works in the same position as you over the lifetime of your career. You got to ask for more. And in order to ask for more, you got to be in a comfortable financial position to do it. So my entrepreneurs, like with clients, if they like, I love those who I work with, and I only work with people that it is beneficial for both of us. Not about pay or anything, but I like you, you like me, we're going to work great together. That's it. I'm not working with a headache. I'm not working with nobody that's going to give me a headache and it's going to ask for all this stuff. I don't care how much money you pay me, but I'm in a financial position that I can turn people away. And that was one of my goals when I started in business by myself. I wanted to be in a financial position to not work with people that I didn't want to work with, right? So I took a different step when it came to entrepreneurship, paid off the $50,000 of debt in the 2 years. And then I still worked my job for 2 years while building this business and had a year's worth of expenses saved before I went into business full time. Okay. So I was making money in my business. And then I also had a year's worth of expenses saved before I stepped out on my own. Why? Because I didn't want to work with people that I didn't want to work for. That's it. And that's my whole mentality today. I'm not taking any business for people that I don't want to work with. And I have turned away a few people this year. Okay. A few highly paid speaking engagements because I was like, this is not going to work. We're not compatible. This is not going to work. But I'm in a financial position to do that. Only debt I have is my home, and I'm aggressively paying that off. So that's the only debt I have, right? So so now it's getting into a whole money talk even more. When you don't have any debt, all right? When you have the less debt you have on your back, the more moves you can make in your career and in your business. The less debt you have on your back, the more moves you can make, right? Right? So when, the $50,000 of debt was a $400 a month car payment and like $150 a month student loan. So when I got that off my back, I automatically got $550 richer every single month. Kids got out of daycare, I got even more rich. every month because money wasn't going there. Money wasn't going to the car. Money wasn't going to student loans. Got rid of cable. Money ain't going to cable. It's just going to a couple of streaming services. You got to get the debt off your back and have more of your money coming into your household and to your pockets so you can make the moves you need to make. You can't make moves with debt on your back. You just can't. You cannot control your financial destiny with debt on your back. You just can't. You can't make the moves you need to make in your career because they may be treating you like trash, like passive aggressively treating you like trash, right? So you work hard, you do what you're supposed to be doing, even above and beyond, and then they still don't promote you. They still not give you the bonuses you should be getting. You know, you should be getting a 8% raise or 10% raise. You only getting 3%. While inflation's at 5.6%, you losing. But if you're not in a financial position to tell them this, then guess what? They go keep doing it. But if you got the money in the bank, years worth of expenses saved, you can go look for a new career with a higher pay. Like go back to another interview, and when they give you the offer, go ahead and get your $20,000 more you should have got in the first place. And now you are working happily because you get more money. And the same for my entrepreneurs on here. You got to get that off your back so you can make some moves. So you can buy the products you need to buy in order to sell them and be able to get any kind of help that you may need, such as if you need an accountant or a bookkeeper. Special shout out to my lead book tax, Michelle. Holler at her if you need to. For my business owners, you need to get an accountant. You need to get a virtual assistant. My virtual assistant is on here, Ashley. Like, helps me a lot. Like, my God, today was a lifesaver. I can actually concentrate on things that make me money thanks to her. And the same thing with Michelle. Keeps my books and helps me with my taxes. Like, I need money for them. Okay. Money for my graphic designer to do things so I don't spend a whole hour trying to figure out how to do a flyer. Right? Money for my business coach, Christy, Women CEO Project. She cuts my learning curve in half when it comes to my business. If you're not paying other people your money, entrepreneurs, you can use the money to help grow your business faster and get to the money that you're supposed to get to. So because all these people, because I've used my money to get these people in place, I am betting on being in position to have even bigger contracts with bigger clients. But I could not even get in position to do that if I didn't have the money to pay those individuals to pretty much multiply me, because I can't do it by myself. Like, I can't send the emails I'm saying. I got 2 interns right now and my virtual assistant working on 791 emails and phone numbers. How long do you think that would have took me? Till next year. Okay, to next year. All right. So being able to invest in your company is going to help you close the gap as well, Black women, entrepreneurs. That's what I'm talking to. So I feel like I've gotten off on a whole tangent, so I'm getting off of that. But this is what I wanted to share with you. If you came on late, I talked about getting your money from the start, asking others that you work with how much they make. All right. So you can know what the gap looks like. Getting the rooms. So if this is still corporate, get in the right room so you're making more money and you can bring other Black women up so they can make more money. Okay. Surround yourself with money makers and people who are not scared to talk about money and making money. Okay. Follow them on social media, connect with them at networking events, whatever it may be. Like, none of us should be afraid to talk about money. Okay. Nobody should be afraid to talk about money. Yes, I'm trying to make this amount of money this month. Yes, I'm trying to make this amount of money this year. This is my financial goals to make. You all who follow me know that I put up my speaker goals, right? I'm going to put up my new goals for August today. I just thought about it. Don't be around people who are not afraid to talk about money, or who think that you're bragging about money. Like, it's not bragging, it's facts. Like, it's facts. Hang around people who talk about money, who are not scared about making money and living the life they want to live. That's what we talk about all the time, generational wealth and wealth building. So don't be around people who try to down that. that's craziness. Okay. That's something they can't do or don't see is possible in their life. And so they don't want to hear it. Okay. So separate yourself from those kind of people. All right. So that was number 3. And then last was my entrepreneurs, that tip for you all. And that was a lot of tips. We talked about negotiation. We talked about making sure you're in a financial position to be able to even grow your business. So you got to get debt off your back so you have more money in your pocket to do what you need to do, to buy the lights that you need to buy, to get the camera that you need to get. You'll see it in my stories. This big old backdrop. I now have this white backdrop because I got to do a video to try to get the next round of this incubator that I'm in, where I can pitch. I think, Ashley, how many companies were on there? What, like 40 or 50? 40 or 50 corporations. I need to make it to the next round in order to pitch them. And so I need to do a 90-second pitch video. And so I needed to set this stuff up. First, I had to buy it. I bought the backdrop and the pole that goes with it, just so I can do the video. But that is what I mean by you got to have more money for yourself in order to invest in your business so it can grow. Okay. So it can grow. All right. 40. Yeah. It's 40, like 40 companies on there. And I'm not talking about no rinky-dink companies. I'm talking about Deloitte, PwC is on there, Waste Management. Who else is on there? Who else was on there? JP Morgan and Chase, like KPMG, big deals. You could have had mine. Yeah, it's serious. And so you got to be able to invest in yourself. All right. That's the only reason as Black women entrepreneurs that we're going to close the gap. We got to be able to invest in ourselves, invest in our business so we can go after bigger contracts. And this is even for those of you who have products to sell. If you don't have the money to fulfill the orders that you're going after, all right. So if it's, these big old orders that corporations want to make, hotels and so forth, depending on what you sell and everything, if you don't have the money in the bank to fulfill it, how you gonna do business? How you gonna close this gap? Same thing with me. I'll say from a product perspective, my books, I got 2 books. Here's one right here. So if you ain't seen The Money Attractor, here's my book on Amazon. But I do book orders, right? For colleges and high schools, but also corporations of that book. But my other book is for high schools and colleges. And if a college, or let's say a corporation, if a corporation needs 5,000 books for employees, I got to be able to pay for that. And those of you who know me know that I don't use credit cards. I don't use credit cards in my business. Never have, never will. And so if they need 5,000 books before an invoice is done, an invoice means they're paying you 5,000 books. Guess what? I got to have the money to cover that and the shipping, and I got it. And so that's what I mean by having the money to make your business grow. If I didn't have the money to do 5,000 books for a company, that they can order 5,000 books for a company, guess what? I lose the deal, right? So that's what I mean by having your money together so that if an opportunity comes, okay, especially if you are an author, for a company to buy 5,000, 10,000 books for their employees to help them get their money together so they can be more productive and bring in more money for the company. That's what corporations usually buy my book for, is to help their employees financial wellness. And they get their financial wellness together from reading the book. It increases productivity and profits. So it's always a win-win for both of us. But I have to have the money to cover the 5,000 book order, the 10,000 book order. And I have it because I need to make sure I am in a financial position to be able to work with these organizations and these companies on a global scale. All right. So that's all I wanted to share today. It's Equal Pay for Black Women Day. And so I just wanted to share a few tips on it doesn't matter if you work in corporate or you work as an entrepreneur. Sorry, my battery's going dead. Or if you work as an entrepreneur, you can use these tips, right? You can use these tips. So that is about it. I think that's what we got. I am the reason I'm in address is because I had a client meeting with a company, and we're just talking about things for Black History Month, to speak for their organization, about closing the wealth gap and just financial wellness in general. A lot of organizations tend to bring me in for Black History Month or Women's History Month, any kind of special month to talk about financial wellness, because you can talk about money any month, just to help their employees, basically get out of debt quickly, student loan debt, credit card debt, any kind of debt. So that they will be less distracted at work. Because if any of you have had any debt in your life, like I have had, when I had 50 grand in debt, I was not concentrating at work at all. I promise you that. I'm calling the student loan company to see what we can do. I'm calling the car company to see what kind of payments we can make, switching things around, whether it was on my lunch break or not. I was on their time trying to make things happen. And there are employees all over, not this country, all over the world, and organizations just using up their time trying to get they debt right and get it out of their lives. So, organizations bring me in to make that go a lot faster. And we have a good time. So I work with a lot of human resources people, as well as ERGs, employee resource groups, and come in and speak and so forth. So that's what I do. All right. So everybody have a great Tuesday. I have finished 2 of my 9 presentations for this week. The next 2 are tomorrow. And then I, finish up on Thursday and Friday. So y'all have a good one. If you missed the whole live, feel free to watch the replay. Share it with other Black women okay? Share it with other Black women so they can help close the gap, pay gap in their lives as well. All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.